All right, welcome to the Great Minds podcast. This is Derrick.
This is Vaughn, and we're here with a special guest. This guy pretty much, we know for roughly over 20 years. Goes by many monikers, written for undergroundhiphop.com. I actually used to look at that website, as well as I called a curator of the culture. He is the culture pretty much. So we'd like to introduce Derrick Fahsbender, or Fahs, or like everyone knows him, like a machine. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Welcome, brother.
What's up, fellas? Thank you for having me. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I know.
Sure.
I'm glad you were able to join us, man.
Nah, man, I see you guys doing your thing. I'm welcome to be on here.
We trying, brother.
Trying, man. But I was gonna jump into something too. I know you're doing the photography. That's what I'm really seeing a lot of. It's been beautiful photos and everything. How'd you get started in that? Like to transition over to that?
You know what's funny is I actually was just looking at pictures the other day. I was always the one taking pictures growing up, high school, college. And so I've always had a love of just recording what I'm going through, recording what people are doing. And it wasn't till really about maybe the last 10, 12 years that I started to take it seriously. And I decided like, this is something I would like to do at a higher level. So I've always had the love for photos in there. I mean, I'm talking growing up, looking at National Geographic photo books. It was something that I always like, that was my first dream, was to be a National Geographic photographer.
I was going to add, V, I remember, and I meant to bring this up earlier, I knew that you had a special gift with Photoshop, right? because in college, you did something that I think I've never seen at the time that happened. So for all you guys that's listening, Derrick basically took all of our pictures and put them on the Huxtable family portrait.
Like in 01.
In 01. And we didn't even know what Photoshop really was at the time. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? He put it up, but he put it all throughout the campus. So I remember I'm leaving the class and people are laughing at the picture. I'm like, oh, it's pretty dope. Who's that on the picture? I see my face on the picture. But we had no idea who did it. So I'm like, yo, who the hell put these pictures up there? And here you go, knocking on my door. Hey, you see those pictures up? I'm like, yeah. Who did it? He's like, that was me. So we knew you had a gift there, man. That was funny, man.
Man,
I've
been trolling since day one. And I tell people I've been Photoshopping since before Photoshop was Photoshop. And I was cutting pictures out and pasting them on. And, even before I knew how to use computer software, I had it in my head.
For real, man.
Yeah. So question, I know in Harlem, you teach a photography class, and you're based out of the Bronx, correct?
Yeah. I live in the Bronx now. So born and raised in Jersey. I've been in the Bronx a couple years now. So yep. I've taken it on as my home. I love it out here. I love the neighborhood. I love the culture. I love just being tapped into for what I do. I walk outside and I'm there. I don't have to jump on a train. I don't have to drive. It's like, I'm right there. It's at my doorstep.
So to piggyback on that, why'd you choose Harlem, and what type of photography class is it?
So I met somebody through a job that I did probably had to be like a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And she is a community organizer. She works at for Children's Aid in Harlem. So it's over on 118th. And she reached out to me, and, they do programs throughout the year, like after school programs. They do a summer program, and they're actually known for basketball, which is funny because, basketball was always like my other love. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what you do is so powerful, and I would love to see you try that with some of the kids here. So we did like an experimental program last summer with 11 to 14-year-olds. And they have a theme for their summer program. So the theme for the summer program was Harlem in the 90s. So I have to take kids who know nothing about photography, not only teach them something about photography, but then help them, how they can relate to Harlem in the 90s. Okay. So the challenge was having no gear, having no funding. It was just me, whatever camera gear I have. And, so I ended up basing the program around taking pictures with your cell phone. So it really wasn't about the technical aspects. It was just about what goes into taking a photo and the power of a photo, and how it doesn't take knowing how to use a camera. It doesn't take anything other than your cell phone to document your neighborhood, which is essentially what we were doing.
All right. So when I look at your page, it's crazy. Like the photos are incredible. And what I like about it is everything's like, when you look at the picture, everything is just so simple. Like you take a picture of a Coca-Cola can that's crushed and just make it look crazy to me.
Thank you, man. I mean,
that's art.
Yeah, it's really about, I tell people all the time, you don't have to know the technical aspect. It's like having the eye is more important than the technical part, because you can learn the technical part. You can't learn having an eye. That's something that's like just how some people know how to draw. They just have it embedded in them, this ability to do that. And I think I've always had the eye for seeing a good photo. But the challenging part is making it translate, because you want to take, a picture that puts somebody where you were. You want somebody to feel what you felt when you took the image, or you want to bring them to that moment. So hearing y'all say that, it's like, man, I could feel good knowing that I got, I delivered what I wanted to deliver. If people are feeling a certain way about my photos, if they're not just looking at it like, all right, cool, whatever. I want people to, if you're not living in New York anymore, I want my pictures to bring you back to New York. If you're, born and raised in New York, I want you to feel like this is your city, and if you've never been to New York, I want you to look at my images and have a real idea of what the city is, that it's way deeper than the pictures on postcards.
Yeah, definitely. Do you remember the first the first street photo you took? Like the first one you actually did? Do you remember that?
Yeah, the very first street photo I ever took was actually in Mexico. So nowhere near New York. I went down to Mexico. So I went to Cancun. Everybody goes to Cancun once in their life. Yeah. And I went, I got away from Cancun. I got away from the tourist areas. I was young. I wasn't worried about, being a white dude down running around outside of, a tourist resort. So remember, I'm riding around, rented a golf cart, and I'm just like hauling ass through like these neighborhoods, like three-legged dogs chasing me, and like shanty towns, like really, really, really like third world kind of, Mexico, where these people had no money, and it was just so real. It was so stripped down. It wasn't what you see when you go on vacation normally. And I had brought a big bag of candy, and I'm like, that's my thing. I'm going to hand out candy and just try to find some connection. So I had a group of kids following me on my golf cart, and I'm handing out candy off the golf cart.
He's like Nino Brown out there.
Yeah. Nino Brown. Hell yeah. Nino Brown with a little fun-sized packs of Skittles.
Yeah,
but,
hey.
It worked. And I remember the first photo, I held up the camera, and I'm like, telling them I speak a little Spanish. So I asked them if they want, me to take their picture, and they posed, and they're throwing up their signs and everything. And it was cool. And I kind of caught the bug after that, just seeing how you can take something so simple as a photo, and to somebody where they're not used to having photos taken, or cameras on a part of their culture like that, it means the world to them.
Yep. So I'm going to transition that, because when I look at your pictures, I see the city, and when I see the city, I see hip hop. And I know you are, a big fan of hip hop. I consider you a part of the culture because, you wrote for stuff. You listen to rap, obscure rappers that people that are, claim to be rap heads don't know.
Exactly.
So I give you, I give you a lot of props for that. How did hip hop inspire you? I know coming from Hillsborough, that probably wasn't the number one music of choice. So, how did that inspire you? How'd you get into hip hop?
It's funny. I had different musical influences. I grew up with two brothers. One was into heavy metal. One was into hip hop. So it was like I was in between. So I got a little bit of, I got Metallica over here, and I got Big Daddy Kane over here. And I still remember it was a Big Daddy Kane album. It was one of my first hip hop albums that I listened to on a cassette tape. And I remember sneaking the tape cover out, and it was like, it was like Big Daddy Kane sitting there with these chicks in bikinis, and I was like, you know, I sit there just look at the album cover. That's what I was interested in as a young dude.
Exactly.
And I still remember the, you know, the early NWA albums. It was like you had to sneak that. Like if your mother called you listening to NWA, it was a rap.
It's a problem.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, man, now I'm like, hell no, I would never was listening to, you know, Just Don't Bite It when I was like 7th, 8th grade. I'm like, that explains a lot about me now. But yeah, I mean, it was just something where I've always just loved music, and it didn't matter as long as it's not country. I always found that there was something I could vibe on, something that would relate to my mood.
Yeah, and that's the thing about hip hop. Anyway, I always say like hip hop to me is a colorless culture, you know, because it's a pretty new form of music. We all know that. But it brings all cultures together. Because you look at who listens to hip hop. If you go out there to Japan and these guys are doing their dancing, yeah, they'll put somebody to shame. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that like you're on the show telling us about your thoughts about it. But it's a lot of people just like you that, you know, is of the culture from different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta kind of take the stigma off of like, oh, this is white guy doing that or black. No, it's not that. It's hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. And you know, it's one of those things. There's always going to be people out there that want to polarize everything. Everybody always wants to put some agenda behind something or paint something as black and white. And you know, look, hip hop's something that there is a lot of cultural significance behind it. But not everything that, you know, not all forms of appreciation that come from other cultures is appropriation. So you can have appreciation without appropriation. Yep. There's a hard line there. You know, it's like, and it's not like, you know, I'm in there, it's like, you know, talking about white people with like the N-word. And I know it's, you know, such a polarizing thing. And it's like, no, if I'm rapping hip hop lyrics, boom, draw a line there, you know. I'm not the type that's gonna say, well, it's in the song. I mean, you have to draw a line, and there's a difference between really appreciating the culture and appreciating where the culture came from, and that's where you kind of get into this whole, look, everybody can have it, everybody can appreciate it without, you know, saying this is ours, this is not yours.
Yep. Yeah. So just to piggyback on that, and I know you know, I'll tie this back to you writing for undergroundhiphop.com. What were some of your challenges as far as being a Caucasian writing about hip hop?
So writing for undergroundhiphop.com, I wrote under a pseudonym, and it was online. So there was no identity. It was like, it was just me, you know, and there was no black and white. And it's funny because the underground hip hop scene, a large majority of it was white dudes. You had like skateboarders and white kids that were like, you know, and these white rappers like, you know, like Atmosphere, who these guys are dropping like 4-syllable words, and like you always knew a white rapper. It didn't matter, like you listen to one verse and you're like, yeah, that's some white dude from the suburbs. You just knew it. You know, it's like there's been a couple dudes. I actually recently got caught by some dude. I'm like, wait, nah, he ain't white. And then I'm like, wait, nah, I gotta look this dude up.
Wait, who was it?
His name, what's his name?
Was it Marlon Craft?
Nah, it wasn't. He's from New York too. I'm gonna have to drop him on you. He actually runs with Primo.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what caught me up is he's got one of those voices he could go either way.
Did you do you listen to Marlon Craft?
Nah, I don't.
Because I was confused by him big time.
He's tough.
For real?
Tough.
Marlon Craft.
Tough, yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna have to peep. It's hard for me, you know, to keep up with everything now. It's like I'm still old school, where everybody's looking for new artists, new tracks, and I'm like, yo, let me just see if Ghostface drops something. Raekwon dropping. I can't let it go. I'm like, I remember back in the day thinking like, dudes like, come on, man, let it go. You like 50, and now I'm like, yo.
But think about this though.
Like,
all of our rappers, really, we're not old, right? So all the hot rappers are all in their 30s and are almost 40. Every hot rapper. And then you look at the whole Griselda team, they came out later. So they have more to talk
Yeah.
about. So like they've been through a lot more than like say a 19-year-old rapper. So when you hear like Benny the Butcher spit, you understand what he's saying because he also is like your peer in age as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think that's why we relate to it. So still a lot of good hip hop out there. It's just you can always find it. So I always think you can kind of craft who you like, and you find what you like anyway. But that Marlon Craft kid is nice though.
Yeah, he's tough.
Derrick,
Yeah,
Derrick
I'm
put
gonna
me
have
on
to check
him.
them out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people now, like these new. It's like they're new or newer, but like you said, they're in our age generation. I think we talked about it the other day. It's like everybody discounts rappers if they didn't come up in the 90s.
Yeah,
Or early 2000s. And it's like, there's a lot of people that have only been out a couple of years, or maybe in the last 10 years or so, really just started putting out music and really, really legit rappers.
Yeah, I heard something pretty funny one day. A guy said, a rapper, he was saying, you can't get mad at a kid born in 1990 if he don't know who Biggie is. You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like if a kid that's born in 2000, he or she is not supposed to know who Tupac is. Like they're going to know who their favorite rappers would be, whatever that might be. So we can't hold them to that same. They still have to be able to rap, but we can't hold them to that same. Like you don't know your history.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect them to know that. They're not supposed to know that. It's up to us or people older to tell them about that. So
another question about the underground hip hop. How was your experience working there? Like did you get to meet some artists? Who did you discover while you wrote there for them?
So everything was done online, and I remember I had to submit a writing sample, and it was to review music primarily. And the one shining thing that I remember doing for that was and everything, nothing was done in person, was interviewing Doom. And this was like, I love seeing like Doom has like the cult following now, MF Doom. It's like sneakers and everyone is like, back then, nobody was on MF Doom, any of those cats. It was like all the early MF Doom stuff. It was like, unless you had to know. It's like D, you said earlier, there's a lot of dudes that think they know a lot. And those are the same dudes that when, they'll say Biggie and Tupac top 2 of all time, and they won't throw any other names out.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yep.
But, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I was mostly reviewing music, which was great because I got my ears on music that wasn't out yet. So you're talking about underground cats that weren't even out yet. So forget mainstream. You're getting underground music that wasn't out, and there's a fine line between that good hip hop that used to be on the radio and a lot of the old underground stuff. So I think underground hip hop in general didn't get a lot of respect because people associated it with those suburban white kids that were, making rap recordings or getting in battles and just sounding like they're reading from like dictionaries and thesauruses. But there's a lot of good. It's because there's a lot of good underground hip.
It's because of M, because M was so dope and how he came at it. People just automatically try to follow that suit. Like I'm a rhyme like that. Now some people can, some people can't. We know that. But I was gonna go back into talking about that moniker you use, right? Which I think is dope because, as you know, D, I'm pretty sure you know about Combat Jack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Combat Jack was probably one of my favorite podcasters like ever, right? He passed away, RIP to him. But he had the moniker of Combat Jack. His real name was Reggie Osei, who was a lawyer. He did it on purpose because he didn't want people to know that this guy that was a lawyer is now Combat Jack doing that. He didn't want people to have a certain stigma with him. So I think when you can kind of move like that, and in this new world we're in, you can do that. So once you're behind this screen, you kind of be whoever you want to be. And you can kind of, I'm not saying in a bad way, for good and for bad. We know that, but you can basically shield and you won't see the face. You just got to respect the words or respect what the person's saying. So I think that's pretty dope. You be able to do that.
It's like Halloween, man. Everybody's a different person when they're in costume. And when you're look, some people use anonymity to their advantage and it makes them more comfortable and more free. But also, I mean, there wasn't the tension that there is now. Like now it's like I didn't have to worry about, the last thing on my mind was a young white dude writing about hip hop or reviewing hip hop. Now it's like, it's an issue. Now it's like, if a 38-year-old white dude wants to write about hip hop, it's gonna be like, what's your credentials? Or like, there's always gonna be somebody, there's gonna be some hate mob out there trying to slam you, or like, you know, this or that, or find out that, you know, I listened to Tool, and I was like, oh, he listens to Tool, so he can't be a hip hop head.
No, but that makes you more well-rounded. Like, you listen to more music, you get to understand music. And even hip hop artists, they'll tell you, I don't even listen to rap. Like, what do you mean? Who you listen to? I listen to blues.
Yeah.
I listen to jazz.
Because it puts them in a different headspace.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the hip hop samples that come from other styles of music, and look at some of the greatest producers. Look at DJ Premier's record collection. It's not going to be hip hop records, or not all hip hop. There's probably a small portion of hip hop records compared to what else he has out there. You know, and that's where
samplings, like all the best samplings, whether you're talking about Yeezy or Apollo Brown and those guys, like, they're listening to oldies and blues.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a huge Sky Zeus fan. Every Sunday he posts a jazz album.
Yeah.
And not that he doesn't listen to rap, but like Sky Zoo did basically he did a jazz album. I don't know if you heard that one. Where he just
with Dumbo Station, right?
With Dumbo Station, and he destroyed all jazz beats. Like, you know, so yeah, that's to your point, and you know, to Vaughn's point, that a lot of people aren't even listening to hip hop to get inspired about, you know, their own music.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of samples. So I've always, even going back to like the days of making Napster mix CDs, I've always had a thing for finding samples. It's so much easier to find samples now. You just type in, you know, you could Google it and find what the sample is. But for me, the joy was always in like hearing a song and, you know, exposing myself to music. And then, you know, as the more old music you listen to, you come in contact with certain beats, certain riffs, certain, you know, melodies, and you're like, wait, I know that from somewhere. And then it drives you crazy, and you listen to it. I love putting together, like, I have a Spotify playlist that I just started that's, you know, called Sample This, and it's, you know, the original song and then the updated hip hop version.
Yeah, I had one of those too.
You know who does it like the best that I've seen that's doing it for a while? Scram Jones. Scram Jones does it all the time, and he'll play like, I think it's on either on Shade 4-5 or something, some like on the weekend. He'll go from like 6 to 8 or something like that, and he'll play the oldie, and then he'll play the sample, and then the new track. So he's been doing that for a while, and I love it. But prime example, like Michael McDonald, one of my favorite singers, right? So Michael McDonald, the Regulator song, that's his joint, right? So I've heard that so many times. I forgot it was Warren G's joint. Yeah, Michael McDonald, man. Yeah, that's that blue-eyed soul, man. You can't beat that.
Facts.
Yo, Vaughn, I'm not even gonna front. I can't picture you sitting there like, see Vaughn chilling in the car. He in traffic, right? Somebody looks over, got the windows up. You think he's singing like some like Teddy Riley or something. He's in there like,
oh yeah. Yo, my favorite song of I don't say all the time, but one of the R&B is On My Own, Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. I be in the car all the time singing it. with the windows down, man. With the windows down.
No shame.
All right, so I know you've shot events, things like that. So when you do that, what are some of the difficulties or some, do people give you a tough time with pricing? Like, how's that work? Do you stand your ground, or do you have to fill?
All right. So I said it a long time ago. I'm like, I'm not going to shoot anything I don't want to do. Before that, you know, it's like you're jumping in, you're trying to find your way. Yeah. So I got to a point where it's like, I'm horrible in business. I'm an artist. Like, I'm a pure creator. I don't like the business end. Some people are really good. Like, it's funny that a lot of the most successful photographers are not the best photographers as far as from an artistic standpoint. Yeah, they're the best business. It's the best business person. So I really, it's like I don't do anything like that. I think I hit my point already where most people don't ask me. Now, if somebody asks me, it's prefaced with look, I know you don't do this, but, and that's when I kind of like, if I'm taking the job and it's something I don't want to do, I'm doing it for somebody that I really respect for some reason.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So then money's not an issue. You know, it's like, I'm gonna pay my bills. I'm gonna eat. I don't get caught up in the whole, like, do it for nothing, or or if you do it for nothing, then nobody's going to respect you. It's like, nah, I'm already there. I've already built my name up. I don't need to, if I'm going to do something and you're going to give me exposure, I'm just throwing you a favor, then it is what it is. I'm more about, is it something that I feel comfortable doing?
Totally.
I want to put out my best products, because everything I put out into the world, people are going to judge you on.
Yeah, it's going to represent you.
Exactly. And my rule of thumb is, if you send it to them, they will post it. So don't send them something unless you want them to post it. Because
absolutely, you gotta be ready for that.
Man, I stopped shooting friends, where it's like, oh, where's my pictures? I sent you 5-10 shots. Well, yeah, but you took like 500. Okay, yeah, I took 500, and 100 of them are not what I want. 100 of them are overexposed. 100 of them are blurry. You look like trash in 50 of them. I want to see them. No, you don't want to see them.
It's going on the ground ASAP.
Yeah, you know what I tell them? I said, when's the last time you ever opened up any magazine and saw 400 pictures in an editorial spread?
That's a good point.
That's not how it works,
Nah, you see 8 to 10 maybe, if you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, that's max. And so I hit a point where it's like, I don't even take stuff like that. I don't need practice. You can go find somebody else that just got a camera and let them take some practice shots, but I'm already where I'm at. And I always tell people, those people that do approach me with like jobs and stuff like that, as far as like lifestyle and events, I hate events. That's one thing. If anybody's listening, you check out my work, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I don't do events. I gotta love you to do events. We gotta we gotta have some history there.
A real history. I got you.
Yeah, no, because for me, it's like events is like, nah, it's boring. I love
get all
what
dressed
I do.
up. Yeah.
No, but it's not as natural though. You're like, I think you're like a real artist that like natural things, like the kind of like, if you're gonna take a picture, if it's at an event, quote unquote, you want no one to hire you. You just show up and start flicking. And when you start taking the pictures, it's kind of, you catch people in their natural state. If you go into an event, you kind of like sit here. Oh, everybody pose. I need one over here with the mom. I need one here with the dad. It's different. It's not the same type of flow. I get it.
It's clinical. Yeah. And it's different if I bring my camera somewhere. I go to a special event and I bring my camera.
Yeah, that's different.
And I know the people and I'm motivated. But I mean, you see my work. My work is, I'm so passionate about what I do. I would rather rap with some dude on the block and get his story and capture his image, or sit on a piece of cardboard next to a homeless dude and find out his story, than roll up to a Sweet 16 and take family portraits.
I had a question about that too. I was going to segue into that. So I know you had your first experience was in Mexico on the street. And I get that. So now when you come back to New York, the gristle, you're back in the city and you want to start doing it, right? How do you approach people to take their picture? Because I've seen the people you taking pictures of, man. They're not the most friendly individuals at the time.
I seen a picture I seen a picture with the OG that said retired drug dealer. I'm like, why is Derrick walking up on this guy?
For real.
Yo, all right. So since you mentioned that one, I'll tell you the story behind that. I was on a train with the dude, and look, there's a lot of people out there. There's different takes on it. Some people don't care. Some people are like straight up, they don't care at all. I have respect for people sometimes. Always have respect for people. But as far as like with taking their picture, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm a street photographer. This is what I do. I know I'm doing it for the right reasons. I know I'm not exploiting anybody. So I don't feel bad about not asking permission for somebody. And it's one of those, like, I feel like it's like and especially in this sensitive ass culture, it's like I have to put like a do not try this at home thing, because somebody's going to get snuffed out there just trying to sneak a shot. Because you know what? Look, you're never as slick as I think I'm slick, and I've been doing this a long time. And I shot this dude. I had hold my camera under my arm just like this and holding it right here every time I was like stretching. Grabbed the shot. This was South Bronx, right outside Yankee Stadium. I'm walking. I'm like a block up. A dude comes running up on me with his cell phone like this. He comes running up like, yeah. Now, how you like that now? How you like that now? Now I'm taking your picture. I'm like, damn, how did that dude catch me? I straight up had my camera like.
He wanted to smoke for
real. So, look, I rapped with them. I said, look, you're right. I did take your picture. And I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even get one that I like. I said, I tried to sneak it and didn't work out. I said, how about this? You came, you confronted me. I'm real with you. I'm not trying to bullshit you. How about we talk for a minute? I find out your story, and you pose for a picture for me. So,
Gotcha.
I bet. You know,
Yeah,
but he's like, you know, we got to go back. Yeah, we went back to his spot where he was sitting down, and I'm real, man. I'm not trying to exploit anybody. So, dude in the retired drug dealer I was on the train with him, and yeah, I mean, there's one thing I've learned is that we're all gonna do it anyway. Everybody judges, you know, based on how somebody looks. Something just came out. There was some dude posted this funny ass video. It went viral on the Shade Room. And if a dude wears his hat backwards, he's an undercover cop. So I'm not like, damn, yo, everybody look at me. I'm like, I already get it bad. Now everybody that all 20 million people that follow the Shade Room on Instagram are gonna see me when I'm out in the hood trying to shoot, and they'll be like, nah, yo, he's 5. But anyway, dude in the hat, exactly. I was on the train with him. I love the hat, and I'm like, and I hadn't seen it yet, so I'm like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. This is my stop I'm getting off at. If I don't get a shot by then, I'm not gonna get it. I'm gonna walk off the train, and that's gonna be it. Dude gets off the same stop as me. I'm like, all right, it's meant to be.
Yep.
But I'm like, I'm still not gonna approach him because he looked type angry, like dead ass. He didn't look nice. Walk up outside the subway. I'm standing right there. I was meeting up with somebody, and he walks like 20 feet in this direction, turns around for no reason, and walks back. And I'm like, yo, this is it. This is like 3 things just happened in the span of 5 minutes that shouldn't have happened. I'm like, this is fate bringing this dude back.
And you had your camera on you? You had your camera on you?
Yeah, always got it. Yeah, always got it.
Like, could he see the camera, or was like tucked away?
Oh yeah, I carry it out.
Okay.
I carry it like it's a warning. Like it's a warning when you see me coming.
Like I'm coming down.
So I'm coming. Like you know what time I do my little shake. So see, look, I ain't even messing with y'all. I got it right here. Never know. I keep it next to my bed, like people keeping the strap. So you never know. Look, live in the Bronx. I had some dude knocking my door at 2:30 in the morning. Like, nah. So anyway, dude comes walking back, and I'm like, I love that hat, man. He's like, what? I was like, I love the hat. He's like, oh yeah, thank you, man, thank you. Start smiling. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you mind if I grab a shot of that? That's it. You know, he's like, oh yeah, not at all. So he just puts his head down, grabbed the shot, dapped him up. That was it.
Yeah, that was dope. That was a dope shot.
Every situation, you know, every situation has its own DNA. So you gotta roll with it. And I always tell people, I have a mouth that can get me into 1 million conversations and get me out of 1 million problems. So that's what you need. You know, you have to have the gift of gab to be able to talk to anybody and really just find your way in. You know, I find a reason. It's like, you know, I see somebody across the street and I'm start plotting like, all right, how am I going to just come in contact with them? And, you know, what am I going to say? What's my angle? So I use that to my advantage. And if I ever get myself in a situation, you just be real. I haven't gotten myself into a situation that, knock on wood, that I can't get myself out of. I mean, I've been in, you know, sketchy ass situations. I almost got stuck twice, both in broad daylight, both in the South Bronx. And I'm not even gonna lie. The one time I didn't even use my mouth. I was just out. Actually, both times I was just out. It's like, nah,
Yeah, just run.
Sometimes you just gotta go. Yeah, man. I almost got robbed by 2 bangers with a kid in a stroller.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
Man. All right, Derrick.
So yeah, man. I mean, it's yeah.
I was gonna say we're gonna transition you to like a rapid fire session. So here's how it works. It'll be 2 choices. We explain it, no context. It's got to be one or the other. You got a couple seconds to answer. Can't Google anything. You answer's your answer, and we just keep it moving.
All
right. Ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. One's got to go. Jada or Fab?
Fab all day.
All right. Yankees or Celtics?
Celtics.
You're on the Bronx. Okay, I was about to say. All right.
Yeah. I ain't trying to die.
Cool G Rap or Big Daddy Kane?
Ooh. Damn, that's tough. Wow.
Time.
Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane.
Woo. All right.
Damn.
Donyell Marshall or Kemba Walker? You are in the Bronx.
Donyell Marshall. Donyell Marshall.
All right, so I got a better one because I had a UConn one too. Rip Hamilton or Donyell Marshall?
Donyell Marshall. Big Rip fan. Sorry, Donyell. Donyell, you got the double kill.
Right.
For real.
Fair to say.
Last one. Primo or Jay Dilla?
Jay Dilla.
Ooh.
Jay Dilla would go like 50
quick.
times before Primo.
Ooh.
Oh, I had to. Oh,
it's a big boy talk.
No, mind you, no, you could throw anybody. The answer's not going to be Primo.
Primo's the guy. That's right. Primo's the guy.
That's it.
Did you hear that versus Primo and RZA?
That production nightmare, you mean? I was like, yo, it was like two dudes like, yo, hold on, yo, you can hear me? Yo, hold on, let me. What do I do on here? Yo, people were typing to Preem like, yo, he's trying to get in. You got to let him in the live, and Preem's like just sitting there talking like, yo, I see you out there. Yo, static selector, I see you just joined.
Yo,
Primo, mad love, Primo.
That's when you older, man. It's hard. Technology killing people, man.
Yeah, you got to have a youngin in the room to have all those logistics ironed out for you, though. So you can just
real.
Yo, I was expecting Preem to be like broadcasting live from D&D, like, just chilling in the studio, like, sound perfect.
Yeah.
He's in the basement. In the basement studio.
Was the case.
I don't know. Those verses, man, I'm over them. It's too much, too frequent.
I hear you.
I think it's time to get back to normal. But hey, do you got anything you want to tell the people? Anything you got going on that you want to talk about?
Yeah, you know, I'm actually working on a book. So I'm hoping to drop that in 2020. I'm stuck right now between trying to put something out that I'm proud of and trying to do something that's cheap enough for people to buy, because publishing ain't easy and publishing ain't cheap.
That's a fact.
Be on the lookout for that. Other than that, man, use those cameras. Tell your story. Tell the story of your people, your community, your family. That's all you're going to have one day is pictures to look back on.
Yeah, if you want to shout out your IG too.
Yeah, definitely. My IG is Like a Macheen. That's LikeAMacheen. Also, likeamachine.com. Yeah, if you just Google me, you'll find me.
You're fine.
Stay away from mumble rap.
Yeah, for some great content. Follow them, guys. Trust me.
Yeah. Yo, D, well, thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. I think it'll be good for people to see, people to hear, and keep doing your thing, bro.
Definitely. Y'all stay up. Y'all keep doing your thing, too. Thank you for having me.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, man.
All right, fellas.
Be easy.
You too.
All right, so shout out to Derrick, a.k.a. Like a Macheen, for chopping up with us.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. His pictures are dope, though. His pictures are crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure y'all – and it's just simple stuff. Like, that's what makes it even more dope for me. It's just like I mentioned, it could just be a picture of a sign, but I think it's a gift, and, you know, you got a different set of lenses is
for
what
real,
I would say.
I could take the same picture when it looked like that.
Word.
For real, man.
So we could get into some music selections. I'm actually back on something old. I haven't really been feeling the new albums that's out. So this week I'm gonna go with Russ. Album been out a couple months. Shake the Globe. So
how is that though?
It's tough, man. It's
because I like the single he has. You know, I heard it a long time ago.
Nah, the album is tough. I actually ran into Russ. I was taking a trip. I had it on Tidal. They have like the section that says like, you know, mixes where they just put in people that are similar to the people you're listening to. And then I heard the song. I was like, oh, who is this? So it ended up being him. And I started checking out his music, and the new album came out, Shake the Globe, but it's dope though.
Yeah, he's pretty big now, man. He's got a lot of followers, and he's doing his thing. For me, I would say this week it's that Conway album that dropped, man. No One Mourns for the Wicked is what it's called. You know, Conway's perfect. Like it's really art. You know, when they put these albums out, it's like 7 to 8. I think this one's 9 tracks. Mm-hmm. That's like, honestly, my attention span. It can only go for 9 tracks. And at first I didn't like it. At first I was like, yo, come on, I need more music. But I think I like the 9 album.
Well, what's happening is, like, if they're doing 7 tracks, it's allowing them to drop more quickly.
Exactly.
You know, I would rather hear that nowadays than, you know, a 14-song album, especially if you're giving me, you know, 7 songs and then like another 3 months coming back with another 7 songs. You know, I
But
could
you know what's crazy though? Like back in the day, right? When we had one of our earlier shows, we talked about why Illmatic wasn't in our list, right? For certain things. And I was saying because it's like an EP. But now you have Conway that comes out, and he gives you 9 songs as well, and I'm cool with it. I think because now we're used to that, and you're not seeing a lot of substance in the music.
Right.
So when you get 9 good tracks, you love it. But back in the day, we were used to having like 13, 14 tracks, and that would have substance in the skits and stuff like that. And we comparing Nas's nine songs to like Hope's.
Or
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just different thoughts. Pretty weird how that has changed over the years.
yeah.
You know?
So we're gonna get out.
Oh yeah, before we go, man, like I said, shout out D Flame on.
D Flame
Appreciate
on.
you. Yep. Check her out for music and merch. Thanks for the shirt, you know. So anybody else that is interested in us, you know, rocking the shirt on the show, just let us know. You know, we'll buy it, we'll copy it. We don't need any handouts. We'll buy it from you. But just let us know and we'll support.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for checking in. Again, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, at The Great Minds Podcast. Comment, like, subscribe, follow. Appreciate your support so far.
Take care.
Peace.